Hello, my name is Nairi and I work at Imperial War Museums. Across the world, at any given moment, a war is being fought, and sadly, this has been true for centuries. Here, at Imperial War Museums, we explore how wars have shaped people's lives. Not just the people fighting in the war, but the people who are forced to live with the consequences when war is fought in their country, their city, on their streets. Alongside models and other large objects, the museum also collects letters and diaries, and some of these were written by children during war. Reading these gives us a good idea of what children's lives were like at the time and how they were feeling, and some of them are even illustrated by drawings. Some of the children who wrote these letters and diaries were refugees and some were evacuees. A refugee is someone who has to leave their home because it has become too dangerous to live in, often because of war. These people are looking for somewhere safe to live whilst there is war in their country, holding on to the hope that they will be able to return home when the war is over. An evacuee was someone who moved from a place of danger to somewhere safer during the Second World War. Over 1 million children were evacuated from big cities like London, Bristol and Birmingham, which were being bombed, to safer places out in the countryside. Many of these children would have stayed in homes with families they'd never met before. Every child had a very different experience. For some, it was very difficult. For others, it was like a big adventure. But most children hadn't lived away from their homes before, and travelling to an unfamiliar place to live with strangers in a new home was quite scary. So writing letters might have given these children a way to connect to their families, a chance to share their news and thoughts. These days, we don't write letters as much as we used to. We've got mobile phones and text and video messaging and email. But in the Second World War, there were no computers or mobile phones. So one of the only ways to stay in touch with people who lived a long way away was by writing letters. Luckily, some of these letters were kept by the family members who received them and then donated to us here at the museum, where we have a chance to learn from them. One collection of letters held by the museum is that of a girl named Annie Bankier. In 1939, Annie was 15 years old and she was evacuated from Austria by her parents to escape the Nazis just before the Second World War broke out. Annie's evacuation was part of the Kindertransport. It was a programme which brought 10,000 children from countries such as Germany, Czechoslovakia and Austria to a safer, temporary home here in Britain. Most of these children were Jewish. In Annie's letters written to her parents, she describes her new home in Britain, her school, her experiences here as an evacuee, which were very different from her childhood in Austria. We asked spoken word artist Hafsah Bashir to look at some of the museum's collections of letters written by evacuee and refugee children and use them as an inspiration to write a poem. Hafsah was really interested in Annie's letters. In a moment, you get to watch Hafsah read out her finished poem, which she titled Goodbye for the Moment. One of the main themes in Annie's letters, which interested Hafsah, was the theme of home. Annie, of course, was leaving her home, the place where she had spent her childhood with her parents. All her belongings were there, all the things that were familiar to her. When Annie was sent to Britain, she was only able to just take a few of these items in her bag, something to help make her new home feel a little bit more like the old home she was leaving. So along with the letters, the museum also has some of the items Annie brought with her nightgowns and her glasses, but also her ice skates, which she hoped to use here in Britain as she had done at home in Austria. In her poem, Hafsah thought carefully about the story she wanted to tell. And as you will hear, she recites the poem in a special way too, emphasising certain phrases. While you are listening, think about the words that Hafsah is using and the rhythm of her poem.
Goodbye for the moment. Pack this leather suitcase, Annie, up to its very brim, with memories of the home we all lived happily in. Squeeze in all the comfort, throw in laughter that we shared. Pick up your little bedroom, hide your treasures deep in there. Green grapes from your mother, share with any frightened children. The journey will be long to this land of new horizons. Pack your ice skates quickly, to dance when you're alone, your spectacles to see, a briefcase of your own. New shoes with love I've made for you to help outrun your fears. To leave is what's important now, no point in shedding tears. The trains are getting ready, they'll leave silently at night. His leathered cobbler hands waving till the train is out of sight. No one asks the question, will we see each other again? My howl swallowed by the sea while I try to work out when. Now I hear sweet notes against an empty piano sheet. My fingers play a song so that my eyes will cease to weep. A postcard in my suitcase to remind me of my home. Every time I see it, let my heart be held with hope. Goodbye for the moment. Let my heart be held with hope. Every time I see it, to remind me of my home. A postcard in my suitcase, so that my eyes will cease to weep. My fingers play a song against an empty piano sheet. Now I hear sweet notes, while I try to work out when. My howl swallowed by the sea, will we see each other again? No one asks the question, till the train is out of sight. His leathered cobbler hands waving. They'll leave silently at night. The trains are getting ready. No point in shedding tears. To leave is what's important now, to help outrun your fears. I've made for you new shoes with love. A briefcase of your own. Your spectacles to see. To dance when you're alone. Pack your ice skates quickly. To this land of new horizons, the journey will be long. Share with any frightened children green grapes from your mother. Hide your treasures deep in there. Pick up your little bedroom. Throw in laughter that we shared. Squeeze in all the comfort we all lived happily in, with memories of the home up to its very brim. Pack this leather suitcase, Annie.
Such a beautiful poem. Thank you so much, Hafsah. Well, what did you think? How did the poem make you feel? Did you notice the way Hafsah uses words and rhythm, timing and pauses? It's not really how you and I would talk in a conversation, is it? But that's what is amazing about poetry. Every word is specially chosen and thought about. And not all poems have to rhyme either. How would you write a poem about your home? What comes into your mind when you think about your home? What makes it feel like home? And what would you miss if you had to leave it for a while? Have a think about the time you spend at home. What words could you use in a poem to describe it? Imagine someone finding your poem in 80 years' time. What would the reader in the future learn about your life right now? You may find it useful to pause the video now and note down some of your first thoughts and ideas. If you're watching this video with your classmates, teacher or family, you can share your ideas with each other. You can then watch the next film. In it, Hafsah shares with us how she wrote her poem. It's like being able to see the workings of her creative brain and discover how her poem, Goodbye for the Moment, was put together. It may help you get started on your poetic masterpiece.